and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to take a look at a puzzle that I think has achieved the most recommendations in a short space of time of any puzzle we've ever featured on the channel. It's called Canal View, and it's by Abid Hawilla. Now, Abid Hawilla is in fact my secret Santa. Abid, you may remember if you've been following the channel for a week or so, made me 3 puzzles which were magnificent as a present for Christmas, and you can play those puzzles now, and I thoroughly recommend them. They're all brilliant. And yeah, anyway, this puzzle was released on Logic Masters Germany on the 7th of January, and I think we've had 14 recommendations for it to try it on the channel since then. So I think we're guaranteed this is going to be something special. I've read the rules through once, and they are very unusual. So this is a completely new type of Sudoku that seems to be based off a logic problem called Canal View, which I haven't seen or don't remember having seen. So it should all be new stuff today, and that's no bad thing. Now, what do I need to tell you before we kick off? I need to say congratulations to some people who have managed to complete Peter C Hayward's Star Wars Sudoku Hunt, which is available for all our patrons at the moment over on Patreon. So very well done to Shuking Chen, Leon Zhang, Christian Hansen, Peter Kurtz, and Michael Nazarchuk. I might be saying your name wrong. I hope I'm not. But yeah, you have all successfully solved the hunt. Oh, and Maverick is flying past outside. I haven't heard Maverick for a few days. So yeah, obviously the fly past is warranted because of the quality of the puzzle. At least that's what I hope. And yeah, why don't we just read the rules? Here they are. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. Which is normal, so that means those 3 digits there sum up to, you add them up, let's say this was 1, 2 and 3, that would add up to 6, so you put 6 in the circle. Now this is where the rules get tricky. Shade some cells so that all shaded cells form one orthogonally connected area. Arrow circles are the clues for a Canal View puzzle. Thankfully it explains what that is. It says, i.e., they cannot be shaded and represent the number of shaded cells connected in a straight line horizontally or vertically to the clue. No 2x2 region may be entirely shaded. Additionally, digits cannot repeat within unshaded regions. So, I think what we have to do here, and Abid has kindly provided an example. This is an example, but it seems to be the case that we have to basically build a canal system on the Sudoku grid. So you can see the shaded cells here form an orthogonally connected region that looks a bit like a very strange canal. Now, what else can we see here? We can see that the yellow cells, which seem to be unshaded cells, look, this sort of W pentomino in the middle. You can see that, I don't know if actually can I change the colour of that pen to something a bit more visible? Let's make it black. There. You can see these cells here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they are all different digits. Now we're also told that the circled clues, the arrow clues, so this arrow here, let's look at this one, where that black mark is. We've got 5, which is the sum of 2 and 3 on the arrow. Now that should see 5 shaded cells, and it does look, if you look north of it, it sees 3 in a row, east of it sees 1, and south of it also sees 1. To the west of it doesn't see any shaded cells because it sees a yellow cell. So that's why this clue is a 5. So we're going to have to use the sort of arrow circles to build up the canals. And yeah, and use the other rules to solve the puzzle. Anyway, you know the idea. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's get cracking. And, well, I can see several little 3-cell arrows, look, which are already quite interesting. In fact, they might be interesting. It might be interesting as a set, but let's just deal with them individually first. The minimum those cells can add up to is 6 with a 1, 2 and a 3. The same is true there, the same is true there. So each one of these circles has to be at least equal to 6. Now, how does that help us? Let me just remember what the digits in the circles are. Arrow cells are the clues. Oh, hang on. Arrow circles cannot be shaded. So the first thing actually I should have done here is to unshade all of the arrow circles, which means we are going to have to select a colour. What does unshaded mean? Unshaded is going to mean orange today, because if I'm building canals, they should be blue, and blue and orange I think are the most colourblind friendly combination. So now, when we find shaded cells, we will make those blue. Now, what else do I know? What do these clues actually mean? Arrow circles are the clues for the Canal View puzzle. Oh yeah, these tell us how many straight line connected clues need to be shaded. So if this was a 9, that would be telling us that of these, however many cells this is, hang on, let's work it out. Of those 12 cells, 9 of them would be shaded, and the 9 would have to be connected to this one, so we couldn't just sort of have... Is that 9? Yeah, that wouldn't be right, because these would be unshaded. It has to be the ones that are connected. I think that would be a valid clue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If this was a 9, but we don't know it's a 9. We know it's at least a 6. We know... no, this is not... Oh, that one in the corner might be better. Yeah, oh, yes, it is better. Yes. In fact, this little cell here can't be an 8 or a 9, because if it was, we couldn't shade enough cells to connect to it. It can only see 3 cells to the north and 4 cells to the east. So that must be, I think, a 6 or a 7. And if it's 6, we must at least shade those and those. So these must be blue, and we don't know about these cells, but they could also be blue if this is a 7. I'm quite pleased. We've actually got a little bit of a start here. Now, what does that mean? That is the same as that digit, look. So whatever's in here is also in one of those 3 cells. Here is a strange idea. What's the colour of this cell? Now, if that's orange, haven't I got a big problem now? Because if this is orange, these 6 cells cannot include a blue cell, because all the blue cells form a canal network. And this is going to form a puddle, not a canal network. It's going to sort of be an isolated puddle in the bottom right of the grid, because it can never get through the unshaded region. And if that's the case, and all of these are orange, that's 10. We can see that, the triangular number for 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 10 cells cannot all be different in a Sudoku puzzle. At least not this Sudoku puzzle. Yesterday, that would have worked because we were using 0 to 9. But today, that doesn't work. So I think that square must be blue. And that's the same digit as this cell. I don't actually know if that probably means something that I'm not appreciating, but I don't understand why that might matter. I guess what it's telling us is that this whatever's in there goes up here by Sudoku, but whether it's telling us any extra things as a result of the Canal View restriction, I'm not sure. I mean, what we can say, is it even possible that all... No, it is possible that... Yes, it's possible actually that all of those cells, in fact, are orange. That would give a 9-cell orange region with just this blue sort of stopping it being... Oh, but then everything connected to that would have to be blue. Is that possible or not? Might be, actually. I don't know. Okay, so what else can we see here? I've got to avoid blues being in a 2x2, don't I? No 2x2 can be entirely shaded, so we can't have... Yeah, we must make no puddles of blue. No isolated puddles or no actual puddles. So it's not possible that both of those squares are blue. It's not possible that both of those squares are blue. Oh, I was going to think about... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15 and 10 is 25. Ah, yes. Look, this is lovely. Right, we can do... Let's forget about Canal View and do Arrow-sudoku for a moment, because that will help us. Look at those 5 cells. What's the minimum we could put into these 5 cells? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 add up to 15. What's the minimum I can put in those 4 cells, which are also arrow cells, but this time in column 3? Well, this would be 1, 2, 3 and 4, which add up to 10. So the absolute minimum I can put onto these arrow cells in column 2 and column 3 is 15 plus 10 equals 25. That means that these circles have to add up to 25 or more. But, well, now this can't be a 6, because that would have to be a 9-10 combination, and that simply won't work. So that's got to be 7, and those have both got to be 9, and that just gets us to 25, which is the very minimum we can make these arrows. So we can actually fill in these arrows now. They must be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Those must be 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now we get to do some canal work. We're going to be the Thomas Telfords of our time. So those must be blue now to make this count correct at 7. This 9 clue, well, if we took all of the cells above it, that would be 7. So those 2 must be blue to reach 9. And if we took all the cells to the east and the south, that would be a count of 8. So this must definitely be blue as well. Now this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it must take 2 to the south at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 to the west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, we can't actually isolate what happens to the north and to the east. If we took all of the westmost cells, all of the southerly cells, we get to a count of 7, and then we could complete the count of 9 either with a domino there or a domino there, or one of each. So we can't actually label anything to the north and the east yet until we know more about what's going on in the world. Yeah, now, don't make 2x2, don't make puddles in your canal. So that's got to be orange. Orange. Oh, I've got a checkerboard now. So this doesn't work like cave puzzles though, does it? No, it doesn't, because the unshaded cells don't have to reach the edge. They can just be isolated in the middle of the grid, I think. So I think checkerboards are okay. If these orange cells had to get to the edge of the grid, you could see that we would have a problem with a checkerboard pattern, because this and this couldn't connect orthogonally. Okay, so it's actually going to be very difficult. I was just thinking about this square and noting that unshaded regions have to contain no repeated digits, but I suppose it could grow to here, couldn't it? And then you could say that those 2 cells can't be the same. Okay, so maybe that rule is more powerful than I think it is. Oh, good grief, Simon. The thing about these sorts of puzzles is, I mean, I never do much Sudoku in these puzzles, but I really don't focus on Sudokus. Where does 9 go in column 2? It can't go there, and it can't go in those 2 squares. So it must, I think, be at the bottom of the column. That's a 9. There must be a 9 up there. No, we don't think I can do anything with 7s. 9. 9 can't go there, so 9's in one of 3 places in box 8. That's probably worth notating. I'm happy to notate that. Okay, so is this as far as we can take our canal drawing? It might be. So what have we learnt about the world here? We've learnt, that square sees 4 canal squares, so that square's got to be, well, that just means it's higher than 4, doesn't it? So it's 4, 5, 6 or 8. Well, it's not higher than 4, it could be 4. If it's 4, those 2 squares would be orange. We'd have a 2 by 2 area of orange, which would all have to be different digits, but that doesn't seem terribly difficult in a 2 by 2 across a box. No, hang on. What about that square? That square is quite restricted. It sees 1, 2, 3, 4 in its column and 7, 9 in its box. So that square can only be 5, 6 or 8 by the medium of Sudoku. It is the same as this square. So this square, which is a circle cell, is 5, 6 or 8. And at the moment it only sees 1 cell beneath it. Oh, I see. So it could see like an I pentomino to the north and make itself a 5. If it's 8, okay, that's a bit interesting. Look, it can't take too many cells to the west. If it took if it took that domino, there would be a 2 by 2. There would be a puddle in the canal, and that won't work. So it can take a maximum of 1 cell to the west, a maximum of 1 cell beneath it. That's 2. Oh, it can still get to 8. It can have 4 above it and 2 to the east, and that would be 8. Oh, okay, so we don't know what that is. Right. Oh dear. This column needs 6, that's a 6, 7, 8 triple, look, to complete it. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple and a 9 in there, so 6, 7 and 8 must be in those cells. And this one is the sum of 2 digits. Oh, that's really rotten though. That's the sum of 2 digits, but those digits could actually both be 1s. So this little circle here, all we know about it is that it's a 2 or higher. And I don't think even Mr. Goodliff would pencil mark that. No, he would. He would. He definitely would. I'm wrong. Okay. Now hang on, that one and that one are the same, so this one has to be a relatively high digit. Because, yeah, whatever goes in this circle gets reflected here, and therefore by our old friend Sudoku must be in one of these 3 squares. And you can see the options are 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 for all 3 squares. And and it can't be that one. Is that right? No, it can't be this square. Yes, this is very... Right, let's use some colours just to showcase this. Purple, whatever this digit is, gets reflected here along the short stubby arrow. So these 2 digits are the same. And by Sudoku, therefore, one of these 3 digits is purple. But this is also... These 2 digits are also the same. So there's no way that purple can be this digit, because then purple would also, that digit would also be there and there in the same box at the same time. That will not work. So actually, I think this square here can only be one of those 2 squares. So that is a 7 or a 9, and so is this. Oh, that's beautiful. Right, got it. Okay, so what is this then? Well, it can only be a 7, because it can only see 2, 4, 6, 7 canal squares. So that is a 7. This is a 7. That reflects here. Oh, and now we've got some 2 by 2 edges going on. Look, that would be a 2 by 2 if this is blue, so that must be orange. That must be orange for the same reason. So we're building up a little orange region there. This blue must connect to its friends, so it must take that square. Now we must avoid a 2 by 2-edge, so this square in the corner is an orange. Now this can't be 4 anymore. That's seeing loads of canal. I mean, this is positively Venetian, this circle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, right, that's gorgeous. Right, so this square is an 8 because it must see at least 7 canal cells. Oh, and the way it sees its 8th canal cell is it must go to the Rialto Bridge here. So that must be canal. Then it must stop seeing any more digits. So that must be orange. That's not, those two squares are not 8 anymore. So this one is down to 5 or 6. And at the moment it sees 3. 4. Right, this is clever as well. This puzzle so far is just gorgeous, isn't it? This can't be a 6. Because remember, it can only see 1 cell to its west as a maximum. So how could we ever reach a count of 6 in this cell? Let's try and do it. 1, 2, 3. Now we've got to hit 3 more precisely. 3 exactly, not more, not less. So if we go north to get our extra 3, then we have to take 4. Because once we take those two are also included for the price of 1. So that doesn't work. We can take a maximum 1 north. That means we have to take 2 to the west, but in taking 2 to the west, not only do we create a 2 by 2, but we also would have to take that square as well. So you can't make this 6, I don't think. I think that's a 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and it's forced, isn't it? How are we going to take exactly 5 cells here? We can't take 2 to the north, or again we're going to breach the total. We can take exactly 1 from those 2 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's orange. That's orange. This square is going to create a 2 by 2 issue, so that must be orange. Ooh, now hang on a minute. Oh, lovely. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Look. We've got the Grand Union Canal coming down here and coming through here. Now it needs to connect to its friends. So it mustn't stop. That can't be orange. Or we're going to have just a big puddle like this that can't get out. So we need to make the canal keep flowing through that cell. Okay, that didn't really do. I thought that was going to be really clever, but it's not done anything. Yeah, and it's a bit weird because although we've got all these canal cells isolated, we don't actually know anything about the contents of the canal cells themselves. It's only the contents of the orange cells that get interesting when they're connected like these 3. So actually we're struggling a bit here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 2 more to add to this one. I don't know where to look. This one? Oh, maybe this one's restricted now, is it? Because that... Yeah, because when we got this 5, we put an orange one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, here we go. This is now forced. We can totally blue its surrounding area. So this has formed basically an island in the middle of the canals. Although I can't see any possible 2 by 2s arising there. Might be missing something. Gosh, that's remarkable. We can just fill in all of those canal cells and it doesn't do anything. So how do we make more progress? How do we make more progress? I don't know. 9 in the centre? Oh, are those pencil marks real? How did I get those pencil marks? Oh yeah, I think actually I had 3 pencil marks, didn't I? But I've got rid of one of them because I got this 7. So now, so now I can just place 9 in the middle box. It goes exactly there. It can't go on the arrow because once you add a digit to it, that'll make this a double-digit number. So now 9. So 9 must be in one of those 2 cells. So 9 can't go on that arrow. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm not sure that's actually doing anything at all. Well, we got a digit. Now that's a little bit interesting. I'm now wondering what happens if that square's orange, then it's forcing that square not to be a 9 because these would all be connected, and you can't repeat a digit in an unshaded connected area. So that would also be the case, you know, if that cell's orange, we get the same effect, because this square could not be blue in that situation, or it would be a very small puddle, and that won't work. So that would have to be orange as well, again connecting this. So is there a reason this has to be orange? I don't know is the answer. I don't know. I don't think so. I can't see a reason why that needs to be orange. Or not, or blue. Right, let's look somewhere else. Where else can we look? Can we do something here? We know that the Grand Union Canal needs to come out and it needs to connect to its friends. And whether it goes that way, that's beautiful. Oh, that is just beautiful. Right. Whichever one of these it takes, look what happens to the canal, the 2 canals that are coming out here. If it takes this one, that's creating a possible 2x2 there and forces this to be orange. What happens though if it takes that one instead and that's blue? One of those must be blue at least. Well, if this is blue, this possible 2x2 needs to have an orange here as well. So this is always orange, whatever. And look, now we've created a little possibility for a small canal here, but this canal needs to connect to its friends, so that is in fact blue. Oh, and so is that, because otherwise this whole Grand Union Canal can never get to the rest of the canal network, so that is blue. That would be a 2x2 if that's in, so that's got to be orange. Ooh, now have we got a problem at the top? We've got to... Well, what I'm seeing is this little potential puddle has to get through this. It has to meet this somehow without creating a 2x2. You can't take both of those blue cells, or it'll be a 2x2. You've got to take one of them only. So if it's that one, that would have to be orange, and they'd have to connect over the top with a blueness somehow. Actually, that's probably possible, isn't it? But yeah, here is a small piece of logic. In this domino, there is exactly one orange and exactly one blue cell. We'll mark that actually. I'll make that purple. Because if it's both orange, this is a puddle, and that won't work. If it's both blue, we've got a 2x2 in blue, and that won't work. So that is that's one of each in that domino. Okay, so that's going to come out through the top of the grid. And then we've got to make sure everything on the bottom meets up with everything on the top. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 1 degree of freedom with this 9 clue. It's got to take one more cell. Oh, good, right. That is sick. That is absolutely sick. Happy to Wheeler, take a bow right now, because you deserve the puzzle-solving community of the Earth to pay homage to you for this one. This is absolutely gorgeous. Right, that square is not canal. Why not, I hear you ask me? Well, watch what happens if it is canal. It's canal. This 9 is now complete, so that square has to be orange. But this is a 2 by 2 potential, so that has to be orange. And now the Grand Union Canal may be the most massive canal in Sudoku land, but it can't connect to any of its friends. Look, there's a massive canal there, but it can't get through the orange wall. It's isolated from the top of the grid, and that won't work. So that is just beautiful. So that means this square, right, that means this square is orange, and that's huge, because now this square can't be canal, so that's got to be orange. This 9 connects to this potential 9, that doesn't work, so that moves the 9 down. Ah, now I can see something going on here. 9 can only be in one of those 2 squares in box 9, because it can't be here, or it gets reflected and hits that one by Sudoku. So now we should ask where 9 goes in column 8, look, because it can't go in those 6 cells. In fact, it can't go in that square either. So 9 is right at the top of the grid up here. Oh, I was about to say we can't have a 2 by 2, but we can have a 2 by 2 of orange. Oh, look. Yeah, but even though this has been forced, I still haven't connected the Grand Union Canal with the rest of the world. It's got to come through there. That's got to be blue. Now, oh, no, that's okay. Now that must be orange to avoid a 2 by 2. And I was suddenly getting very concerned about how this was going to work. In fact, that's now isolated. Ooh. I'm getting the most huge island in the middle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, if this is how this is meant to work, this is quite stunning, because now, look, I've got an 8 size region of unshadedness here. If that's shaded, if that's orange, now that connects 2 more cells to my 8 cells. That would create a 10 cell region. There aren't 10 different digits, so that has to be blue, which needs to connect to its friends. By the same token, this square can't be orange, because if that's orange, it's connecting a whole world down here to orange, and this is an enormous size region, so that's got to be blue. So our challenge, our challenge now is to connect this potential puddle to the rest of the grid, and you can see it's got to come through that square, and therefore that square, it's got to come through this gap. I mean, imagine trying to make this puzzle. Let's just stop for 10 seconds and just think about it in our brains. If we had the idea of creating a Canal View puzzle out of a Sudoku, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, and to build this sort of logic into it, this is absolutely it's gobsmacking. It's gobsmacking. And I absolutely love it. It really is. It's so clever. I mean, it's like, you know, Abita Wheeler's brain has just been opened up and you've just gone, what? Now, right, hang on. Let's just think about this for a moment now, because don't I know some of these circles now? That circle, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this circle at the moment sees 4, but could only ever see 5. So I think that's a 4 or a 5. This circle can... Okay, so this circle is going to see some blue... Oh, look. Yeah, in fact, this circle is a 1. It's a 1 for the most beautiful reason. If this circle is anything other than 1, it forces a string northward of it that will create a 2 by 2 region. So it must be exactly a 1. And that must be exactly the blue cell it sees, so that must be orange. We've got to get the puddle out, so that's got to be blue. I suppose I might be able to do some Sudoku here, actually. Far be it from me to focus on Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle, you know that, but... Oh. Now the other thing I could have done, you know, is this 7 must have 1, 2, 4 on its arrow. So we can get rid of the 3's in there. I've now got a 2, 4. I get a 1. I get a 1 in the grid here. So that's a 1 down there. Maybe I can do the 9 arrows as well, actually. So we've got... Right, we've got 2 9 arrows, but we can only allocate 1 5 to these 9 arrows, can't we? Because we know that there's a 5 in this string. So one of the 9 arrows is 1, 3, 5, and the other one must therefore be 2, 3, 4, because it can't have a 6 on it, and it can't have a 5 on it. So which one is 2, 3, 4, and which one is 1, 3, 5? If this is 1, 3, 5, we'd actually know where all of the digits went on it. It would have to be 1, 5, 3. That might be possible, actually. Okay. Let me think about this. Oh, I know that one. Yes, this is lovely. Right, because I got the 1 here, I now know that that one sees 5, look. So that's a 5. That means those 2 squares must be made up of small digits. Oh, look, that 5 doesn't resolve what that 9 arrow is, though. What about that circle? All that circle, which I've just seen as seeing 4 above it. That circle sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which it can't. Oh, and it can't be a. Oh, it can't be a 5, and it can't be a 7. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can't be 7. It can't take both of those cells. So it must take exactly one of those. It must be a 6, because it can't stay where it is, or it would be a 5 count. And it can only grow by 1, because if it grew by 2, it would be a 7, and that would break this square. So this is a... Oh, look, this is a 6. There's a 1 in this box, so that's a 2, 4 pair out of nowhere. One of those squares is orange, and one of them is blue. So that's like a weird purple domino in the most strange way possible. This square sees 4 above it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay, that could be anything. That could be a very large number, but it's at least a 4. So, okay, let's pencil mark that in. It's 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9. Can't be 6 because of the 6 in its box. And now we're getting into dangerous territory, because we have almost used all our clues. Look, we haven't used this big region in the middle. So this big region in the middle is 8 cells large, so it's missing 1 digit exactly. Oh, I know what I can do. Where does 5 go in the middle box? 5 can't repeat in the strange region. 5 can't go there or there by Sudoku, so that's the 5 in the middle, look. So 5's in one of 3 places in box 2. 5... Oh, no, it's not. I don't believe it. I still don't know if this is 1, 3, 5. The 5 could go here. Or what about if that's 1, 3, 5? Does that break anything? That would have to be the 1. That would be a 3, 5 pair. No, I don't think it does. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, I've got an 8 arrow here I've not used. Oh, that can't have 7 on it. Or 5. Hang on a minute. This 8 arrow Oh, I see. Right, this is a rotten 8 arrow. It really is, because what it can be is double 4. It could be double 4 or 2 6. If it's 2 6, it has to be in that order. So this, oh no, this square is a 2 or a 4. It's nearly useful. That square is a 4 or a 6. Hang on a minute. There's a 1 down here. This, hang on, by Sudoku, we've got a 2-4 pair here. We can't put a 2-4 pair there for many reasons. One of those reasons is that this cell would have no value. Another reason is there's meant to be a 1 in one of those squares. That means that in this box, the 2 or the 4 must go in this square. Well, that square can't be a 2, so I think that has to be a 4. And therefore that has to be a 4. Therefore that is not a 4, so that is not a 1. This must be a 1-2 pair. And those two squares must be a 3 and a 6. Oh, and now this square, whatever's in that square has to go in one of those two squares. Okay, so there's a virtual 3-6 pair in this column now, because this cell can't repeat in the orange region. So in box 5 it must go there, where it will form a pair with this cell. Okay, what about those two digits then? They're a 3-6 pair as well. But we don't seem to know how to resolve much of this. Those squares are 3, 6 and 8. Oh, so hang on, is that a naked single? Is that really true? I think so. That must be an 8 therefore. So this is a 3-6 pair. So these two squares now have got to be 2 and 8. And those two squares have got to be the other digits we've not placed, which are 5 and 9. And there's a 5 here, so that's a 5. This is a 9. That's a 9 now, out of nowhere. Whoopsie. That's not 9. This is 9. So this column needs 1, 2, 3 and 8. So the 2 in it must be vertically up here, because it can't go in box 6, look. So there's a 2 in one of those cells. Not necessarily on the arrow though. Okay, now I'm getting a bit stuck, I fear, because I can't seem to... What have I not done? What have I not done in terms of the canal view? Oh, look, I have not extended this. Once I got that this was orange, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's got to be blue. Here we go. Blue, orange, that's got to be orange to prevent a 2 by 2. Now this T pentomino has to escape, so that's got to be blue. Therefore this is orange. Now this can't be orange, can't be blue, or it would be a puddle. So that's orange, and we've got a T tetromino there. We've got to avoid a 2 by 2 here. Ah, yeah. Okay. So again, this domino is purple. It's one of each, because we need this region to escape and join the Grand Union Canal at the bottom of the grid. But it can't have 2 blues in it, or that will create a 2 by 2, and it can't have 2 oranges in it, or it will be a puddle. So it's one of each. And we've also, though, we've got to make sure this connects through as well. So how do we do that? If this is blue, that will be... Ooh, hang on. If that's blue, that's orange, and both of those then have to be blue. And that has to be orange. I think there's something going on here. I might be wrong about this, but I'm wondering how that can ever be blue. The 6 count, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, the 6 count. We know there's one more blue in one of those squares, don't we? What if it's this one, though? That doesn't look to me like it works. Because if this is... Yeah, this is lovely. This is absolutely beautiful. Right, if this is a blue domino, what's the characteristic of this white domino now? Well, the answer is it ought to be purple, actually, I think. Because it can't both be blue, or we'd have a blue 2x2, and it can't both be orange, or we've got an isolated puddle. So again, this is like the purple. We've got one blue and one purple. One blue and one orange in this domino. One blue and one orange in this domino. But we've got an issue here, in that we've got to make sure both puddles connect out. So, how are we going to do that? We can't have them offset because one of them will be isolated. If we have the blues in that pattern, then this one on the left is isolated. If we have the blues in that pattern, this one on the right is isolated. So we have to have a horizontal domino of blues and a horizontal domino of oranges. Now, if you've got a horizontal domino of blues like that, and these are orange, this whole top region is divided from the bottom region by a wall of oranges. And that won't work. So we'd have to do it the other way round. But if we do it the other way round, we get a blue 2x2 here. And that won't work either. So I don't think that square can ever be blue. I think that's orange. And if that's orange, we've got to add 1 to our 6 to make that work. So that's blue, that's orange. That can't be blue and a puddle in the corner, so that's an orange in the corner. We've got to get our blue out, so that's now forced to be out. That's blue. This is now orange. This to avoid a 2x2. Both of those need to be blue to get this region out and connected. And now we've coloured the grid. Good grief! And now we can put this digit in. What's the count? It sees. It just sees 4. It just sees 4. Oh, it sees 4. And that's rather nice for this, look. It sees 4 just to the south of it. That's all it can get to. So that's a 4. That can't be a 5, therefore. We've got 4 here, a 2 here. That's not a 4. 2 here means we've got a 2 and an 8 beneath it, look. So there must be an 8 in one of these two cells and an 8 over there. 6 in this box is in this domino. So that must be a 6 and that must be a 3. So now we actually know that that's a 3-8 pair. And that means we know the top cells of that grid are a 1-2 pair. We know these two squares must be a 6-7 pair, I think. Just looking at the Sudoku of box 6. Those two squares... yeah, where does 9 go? I'm seeing a lone pencil mark, a lonely 9, so that must be a 9. That makes that a 9 by the looks of things. So, how many 9s have we done? All of them. We've done the 9s. This square is a right-in. That's got to be... I was going to say it's got to be a 4 by Sudoku, but we have actually already got the 4 in box 3. So it's something else. Maybe it's 5. I think it's 5. So that places 5 here. Oh, so now we're starting to eliminate 5s from this. No, this 9. We just need to get rid of this one as well. Oh, look, 5's here, 5's here. So we still don't know which one of these 9s is a 1, 3, 5 arrow. But we do know what those squares are, look. Those squares must be 3, 7 and 8 by the looks of things. That looks like it's actually working as well. Okay. This 4 arrow means this cell must be restricted. If that's a 2, that could be a 2. If that's a 1, that's a 3. So this is a 2 or a 3. 1, 2, 3, 6. Ah, look, yeah. This digit is also a 1, 2 or a 3 because it can't be 6. Yeah, the easier question is where does the 6 go in column 6? It can only go here. That gives us a 6 and a 7, which means that's not a 7, look. Or a 6. That's an 8, in fact. That's an 8. So now we've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in this row as well. So we've got a 1, 2, 3. We've got 1, 2, 3 triples all over the place. So the other squares we need are 4s, 7s and 8s in the middle box. How can this not be resolved? I do not know. Okay. No! You rotten thing! Come on, resolve! Oh, I know how to resolve it. I actually do know how to resolve it. I'm going to think about that square. Because that square, we said, must repeat in box 5. So it's in one of those two squares. Well, it's definitely not this one, because those two cannot be the same. So it must be that one, and they must both be 3s by the looks of things. So that's become a 6. So 6 is in a domino at the top of column 5. 3 comes out of these two squares. So this square now, if that can't be a 3, that can't be a 2. So this is now 3 or 4. It's not 3. Oh, look, this 3 is doing so much work. It's forcing that to be a 4, and that to be a 1, and that to be a 2. Now, this is not 2 or 3. That is a... this is a 1. So this 9 arrow, that must be 3, 5 on it. Therefore, this is 8. That's 3. 8 must be here in the middle box. That's a 4, 7 pair, which is resolved. 4, 7, 3, 5. So this is a 2 by the looks of things. Just to complete that row. I've got a 5. Oh yeah, and the 5 down here tells me the order. So 5 and 3 go into the grid. 3 and 6 go into the grid. Can we finish this off? 8 can't go there by Sudoku. 6, 7 pair. 5, 1 come out of... Oh, so that's a 5, just using our pencil marks. And this 9 arrow now can't have a high digit on it, so it must be 2, 3, 4. And that's not 4. And that's not 4, so that's the 4 on it. Now we've got a 2, 3 pair. This 1 is removing itself from that square. Now I've got a 2, 3 pair in that row, so that's not 3. The 6 here is lovely. That's getting me a 7 and a 6. That's a 7 by Sudoku. That's a 4 by Sudoku. That 4 is giving me a 4 and a 2. That's giving me a 2 and a 3. 2 and a 3. So the 4 arrow is double 2. That's 1. Oh, look, don't get a deadly pattern at the bottom of the grid. That would be very upsetting indeed. That's a 1. This square should be a 7, I think, just by Sudoku. We've got a 6, 8 pair to place in box 2. And that we can remove 3 from that square. So this should be a 3. And that needs to be a 6 or an 8, and it must be an 8. So that's going to finish. I mean, this is finishing off, I think. Yeah, 8 and 7 go into those two squares. 6 goes in the corner up here. And that must be a 1. And what a puzzle. What a puzzle. Let's click tick. Yes, yes. A little fist pump there, because that's quite simply unbelievably stunning. I absolutely love that. Gosh, what an absolute privilege it is to solve puzzles like this on this channel. I am... just lost for words. That is quite staggering in its genius. There are about 8 moments in that solve where you just sort of put down the mouse or put down your pencil if you're doing it on pen and paper and just go, what on earth have you done there, Abid? It's out of superlatives. I am. Loved it. Let me know in the comments who you got on, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.